The Final Runner. Our city's annual marathon usually takes place in the summer. My job was to sit in the ambulance, following the runners in case anyone needed medical attention. The driver and I were in the ambulance, behind hundreds of people, waiting for the starting gun to go off. "We're going after the last runner, so drive slowly," I told the driver, Doug, as the car started to roll forward. "I hope the last one runs fast," he joked. As the crowd picked up speed, the first group of runners gradually moved ahead. It was then that the image of a woman wearing blue shorts and a baggy t-shirt caught my eye. "Doug, look!" We knew we had identified the last one. Her feet were tucked in and her knees were out. Her crippled legs seemed incapable of walking, let alone running. Doug and I watched her slowly advance, neither of us saying a word. We inched forward, stopping to wait for her. Watching her struggle to put one foot in front of the other, I found myself breathing for her, cheering her on. I half wanted her to stop, half wanted her to keep going. Finally, she was the only one in sight. I sat on the edge of my seat, watching, with a mixture of fear, excitement, and respect, as the woman continued to push forward, determined to make it through the final miles. The finish line was in sight, and people were shouting loudly on both sides of the road. There, standing tall and proud, was a man waiting. He held one end of a crepe paper ribbon, the other tied to a post. She slowly walked forward, crossed it, and snapped the two ends of the ribbon so that it fluttered behind her like wings. I don't know that woman's name, but from that day on she became a part of my life, and I depended on her a lot. For her, it wasn't about beating the other runners or winning the prize. It was about finishing the race no matter how hard it was. Whenever I encountered a situation that was too difficult, too time-consuming, or seemed impossible, I thought of the last runner. Soon, everything became so easy for me.
Perseverance brings success. Joan Molinsky always dreamed of standing on stage, hoping to bring people moments of laughter and relaxation. Although she had some small success in local talent shows, her parents were not convinced that choosing a career in comedy was the right decision. Her very first performance in New York took place at the end of summer in a nightclub. Her parents came to watch. The show began with a lively song, but the audience's attention was no greater than the interest they gave a dessert cart passing by their table. 300 people were busy chatting loudly, and no one paid attention to the performer on stage. Hurt and embarrassed, Joan still tried to patiently use every bit of her talent to get through her routine. After her polite, "Thank you," she ran straight into the kitchen, tears streaming down her face. Her parents felt awkward, more for themselves than for their daughter. This failure only made Joan's father, Dr. Molinsky, more determined to persuade her to give up on show business and pursue a more practical career. "But this is my life, and I'm going to live it to the fullest," Joan insisted. The argument ended with Joan leaving her family and moving to New York City. She rented a small place, worked to survive, and kept her dream alive by performing in variety shows. Slowly, her dedication began to pay off. She later got a job as a writer and warm-up comedian for Candid Camera, a little-known show in California. No matter how hard she worked, her boss, Alan Funt, never remembered her real name. He would call her whatever came to mind: Jerry, Jeannie, Jackie, anything but Joan. One day, she received a phone call from The Tonight Show, where she had once applied for a small role. They wanted her to appear alongside Johnny Carson, the greatest comedian of that time. Pretending to be sick so she could miss work at Candid Camera, Joan decided to seize the opportunity of a lifetime. On stage, Joan and Carson clicked instantly. Their performance together was even better than the script. At the end of the act, Carson excitedly shouted to millions of viewers watching on TV, "Wow, she is hilarious. She's going to be a star." The very next day, dozens of invitations to perform came flooding in from across the country, placing Joan among the top-tier comedians. She eventually resigned from Candid Camera, leaving Alan Funt both angry and regretful. Chewing on a carrot, he muttered, "I think you just made a big mistake, Jill." That was the last time anyone got her name wrong. From then on, the name Joan Molinsky was always announced loud and clear.
That is the end of today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And now, goodbye and see you in the next video. Have a great and joyful day.